In this video, I'm going to talk about being too attached to a girl, what happens when you get too attached, how to stop being too attached. This is not something to be embarrassed about, especially a lot of you young guys that haven't had a lot of experience out there. You may find a girl that you like, you're dating her, maybe she's even your girlfriend, and you find that yourself being too attached. You're thinking about her all the time. You're kind of obsessed whether she likes you, whether all the behaviors that she's doing and actions that she's doing, and how to get over this. How do you rid yourself of this feeling of feeling so attached? I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique that you want, how to get the girls that you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to what I call the Bulldog mindset. If that sounds like something you are all about, smash that subscribe button, join us on the journey, and make sure you take the quiz, the Bulldog quiz, to see what your Bulldog score is, to see if you are a Chihuahua or you are mentally strong, mentally tough Bulldog. He says here, I would really like your input on the problem I have. It would really help me. My problem is that I get too attached to girls. It's a lot less than how it was 6 months ago, but it's still a big problem. I don't have a problem meeting and attracting girls at all. I approach and get approached. My friends call me male whore and a fuckboy. I wasn't, am not, and wouldn't like to be, but people see how I interact with girls and assume that about me. When I'm seeing a girl regularly, every day, every other day, for a month or so, I get really attached. That shows up when I'm hungry and or tired at night. Sometimes my hands start to shake, my heart goes crazy, and my tears start going. This is most common. When I sleep on it, it's fine, maybe 10% of what it was at night, and I can function normally. I will not even try to explain the mental rut I allow myself to fall into when I suspect that she is distancing herself from me or cheating on me. Only one girl left me so far because I have done some stupid things, and what I'm imagining at those times never happened, never, but that does not stop me from doing it over and over again. This behavior doesn't manifest itself when I am with a girl in person. I see and they tell me how great of a time they have with me. It's just a private thing from time to time, so it's not hurting a relationship. I know that life is supposed to be hard sometimes, that love hurts, and that shit happens. If you think I'm making this a big deal, tell me. I think I am not. Every opinion is appreciated. Take care. Update working with my therapist today. We have discovered the issue. I will not delete the post, but maybe somebody can identify with this in comments may help him or her. Thanks. This is extremely valuable because a lot of people are thinking the same thing or having these problems, and they're embarrassed to share these things. But by having this in the Bulldog Mindset membership, we can work on these things. The big idea that you need to understand in order to avoid being so attached to girls or to any particular girl, especially girls that you don't know very well, is that you need to not have expectations. I want to point this out. He said, if I'm seeing more than one girl at a time, this happens with the one I like the most. So I want to flip the script here. I want to flip it, and what would happen if he's got a girl that he likes very much and she's seeing more than one guy? That would drive him nuts. It'd be crazy. There's a double standard here. I'm not saying this in some kind of like feminist, judgy type of way. What I'm saying is this. He wants to be, essentially, if he's dating four girls, he wants all of them to only want him and to not think about anyone else and to not stray from him at all or cheat on him or anything like that. But he's perfectly willing to be dating multiple girls. I have no problem with that. It's totally fine. It's a need for validation. It's a need to feel loved. Not only that, but it's an expectation. It's having expectations on people. Okay, it's not accepting the reality. As a guy, what you need to understand is that women are going to do whatever they're going to do. And they're going to think whatever they're going to think. In fact, this is just a good thing to understand in general, which will help you to get through this, right? The reason why you're so attached to a girl, one of the reasons why, is because you don't want to accept the reality. Most of you guys can probably relate to, do you ever watch any porn? Probably a lot of you do. I know that it's a very common problem, a very common addiction. Do you also see women walking down the street and you're attracted to them? A lot of women, a lot of times, a lot of your days, do you ever have thoughts or fantasies about them? Okay? Or, you know what I'm saying, right? So, the reason why I'm saying this is because just from your own perspective, like, this is how you can sort of figure out what reality is, right? This is a really important thing to understand. I thought I was going to go a different direction with this video, but I want you to understand how you assess what reality is. If your own experience is that you are basically fantasizing, lusting after many women, probably in a week, I don't know how many. Is it 15 or 20? Is it more than that? Right? It could be a lot. Then you also have to assume pretty much every other person on the planet is doing a similar thing, including women, including the girl that you're dating, including the girl that is your fiance or spouse or whatever it is, or the girl that you don't even barely know, but you're stalking because you're obsessed with her. Now, why am I telling you this? Is because in order for you to have this kind of ridiculous attachment where you feel like you need to control exactly what the other person thinks, and this is really what it is, you have to reject the reality. So one of the really easy cures for getting rid of this ridiculous attachment is to realize whatever girl that you're obsessed about, she's been thinking about a lot of guys. She's been having sexual fantasies about a lot of guys. And no matter how much she is attracted to you, no matter where you take the relationship, that's always going to be the case. Just like it's always going to be the case for you. Are you ever going to have a point in time where you're not actually attracted to other women at all? No, it's never going to happen in your life, right? I hope you can understand this. It doesn't mean you're going to act on those things. It doesn't mean she's going to act on those things. But those thoughts will be going on in the head. And if you cannot accept that, then you're fucked. You're basically going to always be obsessed, and you're always going to have this level of attachment. But if you can just accept that, a lot of this goes away automatically. Because in order for you to accept that, it's going to hurt, and you have to let go of expectations. The problem is that when you have this high level of attachment to the point where my hands start to shake, my heart goes crazy, and tears start going. When you have that level of attachment, again, not to be embarrassed by this because we've all been there, the reason why is because you have this expectation of this other person, and it's a very high expectation. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be okay with her cheating on you. That's a totally different matter. The second thing here about this is that you have to have the mentality, okay, have the mindset that you would never want a captive person who was not acting out of their own will, but was acting out of obligation. You wouldn't want a person to be, quote, in love with you or obsessed with you simply because they're acting out something that you want. You'd want it to be authentic and true. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. It's this attitude of letting things be as they are. Accepting whatever it is. Whatever it is. If it's bad, it's good. It doesn't matter. Because you only want... the only true attraction, the only true love that you can have in this world is voluntary in nature. The bigger piece of this, and really the psychological element that is affecting you in the case of having this kind of attachment to a girl, is one of validation, like I said, of trying to get something. And it comes from not feeling good enough. This is external validation at its core. This is where the neediness. This is where I said I would come back to the nice guy debate here, okay? Because this is a part of it. If you don't feel good enough and you feel like you need to validate yourself by having this girl, whichever one you like the most, liking you, and you're putting so much weight on this, okay, it's because you're feeling like you're lacking something, like you're not worthy, right? And we all go through this, and you're trying to get something. You're trying to get love. You're trying to get really unconditional love, which is never going to come. You're never going to have that thing that you're seeking. You're seeking this thing that doesn't exist. No one will love you unconditionally. You must learn to love yourself unconditionally. Okay? You have to learn how to accept yourself, how to be comfortable with yourself, how to be willing to have whatever happens happen because you're comfortable with yourself. See, you can't be obsessing over a girl and being so attached to a girl unless you have problems with your own self-esteem and you don't think you're good enough and valuable enough, right? If you think that you're good enough and valuable enough, then it doesn't matter what this girl is doing. You're going to live your life. You're going to live your purpose. And if she's in your life, it's great. It's awesome. You have a great addition to your life. If she's not, it's fine. If she's not interested right now, that's also fine. You got plenty of other options, plenty of other things to do in your life, and you don't have to obsess and worry about this one thing. A lot of what's happening here comes from this thinking of centering your life around a relationship or around, quote, love. It's not ever going to be the center of your life, and it can't be. It's elusive when you chase it. It's like chasing happiness. If you're like, all I want to do my whole life, my whole goal in life is to be happy, is to chase happiness, what's going to happen is you're never going to catch it. Happiness has to be a byproduct of living the good life, of living a good life, of doing the hard work, of creating value, of having some purpose in your life. And it's the same thing here. Love is also a result of that. It can't be something forced. You can't ever build your entire life around love, around a relationship, around a particular girl. If you do, what will happen is that you will stop doing all the other things that you need to be doing in your life, and you will cease to be valuable, and you'll cease to be a human being. You have to be a man. You have to stand up, and you have to go and live your purpose and have these other things be additions to your life, not the primary thing that you're seeking in life. When you accept reality that girls are going to be thinking about other guys and fantasizing about them, and that anyone could possibly cheat at any time, right? When you can accept that reality, that doesn't mean that they should or will, but when you can accept that reality, it'll be really hard to, at the same time, have an obsession with one girl, because you'll realize she'll never ever be what you want, what you think that you want, which you actually don't want that, but what you think you want. When you release the expectations on people and you allow people to be what they are, and you want them to be what they are, and not to be fake, and not to do something to spare your feelings, but to actually be what they are, and you can accept that, life becomes easier. This is what I felt this morning, so this is what I did. Take the Bulldog quiz, subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.